What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. And you know what time it is. It is update time. The Season 2 notes are out, and we have everything you need to know before the season starts at about 3 o'clock a.m. As usual with any update with UFL. Strikers goes between 6 to 8. Usually it's a little quicker. Sometimes it goes the full 2 hours. And that is 3 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is my time. So you can look up whatever time 8 o'clock UTC is for you, or 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, so you know exactly when in your location the new season goes live. So in the future, just plan for the 8 o'clock UTC. Know whatever time that is in your time zone. That's when you know any new update will be released. With that being said, here is what we have. New season. The division structure has been updated. There are now 19 divisions. Previously, and I cannot read because the website, for whatever reason, did not adjust to fit every phone. It doesn't fit my phone. So this is the first time for that, but you can even read the full notes. So, there is a different amount of divisions. All players will be distributed across divisions based on their final standing in the completed season. I'm not going to read all these out loud, but you see there, as with any football game, you just drop a few divisions. For those at the very top in Premier, you will start your grind back to Premier in Platinum 1. So essentially, you go from Platinum to Diamond League and straight back into Premier, which, if you are familiar or remember the grind from before, a vast majority of it will already be done, and that's not necessarily a good thing unless they added some insane new modes that kind of make up for how long it takes to grind up to Premier, and then that feeling of not really feeling like there's anything to play for in UFL. So, upon placement in a new division at the start of the season, players will receive a reward for entering that division. So you get a promotion reward just like last time, as well as rewards for all lower divisions, right? So whenever you move up, you get a reward. The base CP reward for matches has increased across all divisions, so you get more CP. Matchmaking within divisions has been improved. No details on that, just saying that it's been improved. Now, with any game, I hate speculating. I do not know why they do this with these notes, especially with anything Strikers provides, because they've been vague in the past, and I've been totally wrong based on my speculation. So I'm just assuming that this could mean you're going to play, opponents closer to your rank somehow. And I don't know how they could say they're going to, assure this improvement if not that many players are playing. So that's why you're matching against players that are not only, further out from the rank you are, so it's not even as far as skill goes, but also location-wise, which makes the game pretty laggy. So who knows? They could mean they improve matchmaking on both of those. Location-based matchmaking could be improved, as well as who you face and how close they are to your division/skill level. But we'll just have to take their word for it and say matchmaking has been improved. We'll see when the new update, the new season comes out. Promotion and relegation conditions has been revised. Fewer matches are now required between divisions from Silver and A. Who knows what this says? Win streaks have been removed in Bronze, Silver, and Gold, and loss streaks have been removed. So, if you remember correctly, you would have to win 2 games in a row to get promoted. Now you don't have to. Essentially, you go up, you get to your last game for promotion. If you win it, even if you lost the game before, you move up, right? If you lose, you go down. If you tie, you remain the same. There's no more streaks, needed. So sometimes you would win a game and then you'd lose, right? And then you'd win a game and then you'd lose, and you couldn't get that streak, and it would take that much longer to get promoted. There's no more of that, so it'll actually be easier to climb. There's been 540 new players added, 519 players removed. Who knows if these are good players, if these are just irrelevant players. FC is adding and removing players all the time based on licenses, getting cut from teams, different things like that. Typically speaking, these type of additions aren't anything, regarding players. Every once in a while, there's a few players you may use. For instance, I heard there's Balotelli coming into the game, which I could see him being an absolute beast in UFL. So that's a big new add. So there's always just a few, but for the most part, when you hear 519 removed, 519 added, very few of those will be relevant to players that you would actually use. Player ratings have been rebalanced based on the real world football performances. So, there's some players that have been playing good and therefore they get boosts. There's some players that have been playing bad and therefore they've gone down in overall rating. We will have to wait and see at 3 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock UTC, which players got those ratings increased and decreased. Gameplay-wise, so this is a big one. Let's pay close attention here. Improved logic for selecting the target area in the box during regular passes. So, again, they did not fit their release, for all phones. Maybe for you guys, you can fill in the blanks on this. But as far as I'm seeing here, whenever there's a pass you're trying to make in the box, this is like when it would lock onto a defender or something like that. Now, this is across the whole pitch. So, even though I'm filling in the blank for a few words, based on what I'm reading here, I don't know why it's improved logic for selecting the target, blah, 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 in the box during regular passes, right? Because the passing needed with that messing up the target or going in the wrong direction to the wrong player than you intended, that needs to be fixed across the whole pitch. So we'll have to look into that and experiment with that fix or supposed fix. Minor adjustments made to pass targeting when the power bar is something filled, is heavily filled. I don't understand. I don't know. Minor adjustments made to pass targeting when the power bar is whatever. Minor and medium injuries are temporarily disabled. Let me try something here. And you can't even rotate your device. I figured maybe you could rotate and read everything, but you cannot. So, minor and medium injuries are temporarily disabled. Okay, so that's good because it got real annoying when you couldn't use a player. I thought that was pretty random, pretty dumb. I had it happen with my Ronaldo a few times. It was pretty, it was pretty annoying. The chance of receiving a severe injury without a foul has been significantly reduced. The chance of receiving a severe injury without a foul. I never had a severe one. My injuries were always like a match. I think they need to remove that altogether. But that's just me. At least the minor and medium ones are temporarily disabled. Those are the only ones I ever really seen. Now, hopefully I don't, jinx myself and now I get some 10-match injury resting, some nonsense like that, but we will see. That's been heavily reduced for the severe one. Minor, medium has been disabled temporarily. Several gameplay bugs have been fixed. Again, you cannot be vague here when you have so many bugs in your game, strikers. Come on, you gotta be specific on this. Is important in these areas to be specific. Wrong area to be. You could have put as vague as you want about injuries. Injuries have been tweaked. Okay, cool. Hopefully there's no more crap where your players have to sit out a game. Next. But when you're talking about gameplay bugs and you don't go into detail, come on. Audio and visual. 70 plus player appearance updates. 180 plus player photos updated. Team pass page progress widget visually updated. Team pass progress widget added. Some 2, I believe, match results and challenges. A day countdown timer has been added to playoffs. Various UI bugs and crashes fixed. So again, vague. We would like that to be more descriptive. Minor commentary line improvements, several audio bugs fixed. Okay. So that's always just kind of, okay, well, maybe some of that stuff was annoying, but nothing really worth, with a lot of meat on it in this section for audio and visual. Besides various UI bugs and crashes fixed, I don't know. We'll see what that entails. Once again, too vague. Other Team Pass pages now unlock exclusively through star earnings. Previously, you could unlock a page by buying out everything on the currently active one. Wait. Team Pass pages now unlock exclusively through star earnings. Previously, you could unlock a page by buying out everything on the currently active one. Okay, so I'm so confused. So if I buy out everything on, let's say, page 2, right? Then shouldn't it unlock the next page? Exclusively unlocked through star earnings. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't I have earned enough stars if I had unlocked everything on a page? The next page should open. Who knows what that means, but whatever. We'll see. I know what they mean by saying, okay, so page 2, I get stars, I buy, and all of a sudden there's nothing else to buy. I bought everything on the page, the latest page I have on Team Pass, and then the next one opens up. I don't understand what the difference is with what they're saying here. We'll have to explore that. And that's it. Guys, it's just, all right, here's my honest summary of this. I think if anything, they might have moved an inch forward. An inch. Where did I think they need to move for this game not to be total, nonsense? They needed to move at least 5 miles. And I'm not even just saying that. I'll give you some examples. When you're talking about these bugs and stuff fixed, right? These exploits, okay, you're talking about the passing. That was a huge one. There you go. That's the inch. That's 1 inch. If they even fixed all of the passing that was messed up. It said something about in the box, that was it. But when you're trying to pass all over the field and passes going in the wrong direction, then you press, that's insane. The through balls, they needed to fix those. It shouldn't just be that one particular angle. They needed to fix through balls all the way around to make that pass a 100% working pass. If the lane's there, the ball should go through. It's not the case. You have to have that perfect angle. If you don't, the ball may get locked onto a defender, or it may even get locked onto your own player's feet. And instead of playing a lead-on pass through, it just plays a pass to your player's feet, which you don't want. So that's the inch that they moved, assuming all that was fixed right. The description didn't even sound right. How about the corner kick flick on? How about the L1, R2 sprint that players are able to abuse and just zigzag back and forth? How about the lack of jockey ability for defenders? That lack of fluidity creates nonsense for the offense. Cut, like you guys have heard me before. That's exactly what that leads to, because you can't move fluidly. So the attack is able to do non-football-like stuff that doesn't make any sense to real football and be successful. How about the first-time fake shot receive that causes the player to float and is like 95% of your goals? So every big highlight of a good goal, quote-unquote, you have a player glitching to receive the ball and float into position to shoot. How about the fact that you can't score on a regular breakaway, because unless you're at that perfect angle, the goalie makes that same animation save every time, no matter how good your player's shooting stats are. But if you're at that perfect angle for a finesse shot, it's going to go in, right? How about the fact that you cannot create a regular build-up goal? Everyone's constantly going for a second-time finish, so that snapshot, animation is triggered, or at least a first-time shot animation. It's not just regular shooting. It's not regular football. You have to go for these certain goals, otherwise the goalie's just going to save it. How about the post-hitting craziness that just randomly, right? It doesn't matter how accurate your shooter is. You could be taking a shot with, Holland, point blank, perfect placement, perfect amount of power put on the shot, and for some reason it hits the post. And if that's some we just did it randomly because players miss in real life, okay, then can you explain it? Because it really does seem like a glitch. You could shoot the ball the exact same way in the exact same place 10 times and for some reason 2 to 4 of the times it's just going to hit the post, right? So it seems like it takes away from skill and adds this almost, you know, randomness to it that, almost like if you in a game, right, burn a defender with the same move every single time, and you're doing the move right to beat the defender, right? It would almost be like randomly 2 or 3 times you're going to do that move, and you aren't going to be allowed to beat that defender, even though you did the move perfectly, even though you really did beat the defender with skill. They say, no, 2 or 3 times you're not going to be allowed to do that, even though you would have beat the defender truly. The ball goes to the defender. Doesn't exist. It's just an added thing that they're putting in, for some reason, if it's not just a glitch, but they didn't explain anything like it. If you have the skill to create a chance where you're going to score 100% of the time, you don't want it randomly ringing off the post, like they just threw in a wrench in the shooting for no reason, I feel like there. So I could go on and on. There's tons of things like this. I don't understand why they can't be more descriptive, right? I mean, you constantly see all these glitches, all this nonsense that's added. The pressure, the lack of ability to stop players from passing the ball around the back, the lack of true improvement in the sit-back defense, right? Your line's still broken. If you play a balanced defensive line, the defenders still sit inside the box. You're still able to put all your defenders, all your midfielders, which is why you still have the 5-3-2 rats, because your depth, your width wasn't truly fixed. Yes, it was slightly improved, but there still needs to be way more improvement in that area. There's nothing brought up about that, right? Like I just said, nothing brought up about the ability for these players to score goals and still pass around the back because the pressure tactics don't properly work. Also, the lack, I've already talked about this. Now we're going in circles. But the lack of ability to properly defend, right? Which takes away from the skill gap in this game too. So if they make the space better, which they have improved a bit, and that is a huge storm going on in my area. So that's what you just heard. That was huge thunder and lightning. If you could have only seen the lightning. But anyway, with that being said, if you have slightly improved the spacing, right, and then you all the way improve it, which it needs to be improved, but you leave defense how it is, well, then you have a whole new problem. Now you're having FC type of 10-9 games, all because the attackers now have these big old holes to go through, and all they have to do is do these, nonsense, cut left, cut right, until the defender overcommits, because no matter how skilled the defender is in jockeying and doing the right things, keeping between the attacker and the goal, eventually they're going to overcommit because the movement's not fluid enough. So some things it's like they need to fix both areas, but the game's inherently broken because if you fix one, you're going to have a bigger problem with the other. So that kind of stuff is what needed to be fixed. It's what needed to be focused on, at least going in the right direction and saying, listen, we are aware of this. Explain with detail, don't be vague, and say, please be patient with us. No, we have not been able to implement all of these fixes, but they will come. So, we will see. I could rant on this forever and ever, but the truth is this. As far as this channel goes, I will continue to follow the game at a secondary level, right? I use the example of a concert, right? In a concert, you have an opening band that gets, a few songs, several songs, and then you got the main event, right? The main band. So they will get a vast majority of the songs, a much longer time, up on stage. That's what eFootball would be for this channel. It deserves it. It is a main game. Yes, they have their own ratty players. Yes, they have their own exploit nonsense things in the games that I hope they remove in the future. But as far as the ability to play proper football, as far as the ability to really help players improve skill-wise, and therefore they'll see improvements on the pitch, eFootball is crushing the game. As far as having realistic player models, realistic legends that you bring out onto the eFootball pitch, and they stay true to their real-life counterparts, eFootball takes the cake. UFL, you can tell by the player models, okay, that's Haaland, that's Mbappe, that's Salah, that's Messi, but as far as how they play skill wise, you don't really have much of a difference. You have your big players, you have your little players, you have your really good dribblers, right? You have your really good header players. You get what I'm saying? It's not more like, okay, wow, so I got this, Maldini, but then I got this Salah, but he plays much differently than this Olise. He plays much differently than this Mbappe. And then I got this 7-foot Kohler, who, even though Holland's one of those bigger players too, and they might have similarities, they even offer unique qualities because in Konami's eFootball, they actually bring the true to life skill sets that these players bring and abilities, right? And animation, so it actually looks like that's players playing. They bring that into the game. UFL doesn't really have any of that stuff, right? So I put it in the opening act over FC simply because the server's over there. You can have the greatest game in the world, which I've said it for a long time. I think FC is in first place overall. However, as I learn more and more about eFootball, I'm starting to question that. eFootball could very well be that game that just isn't recognized but is truly the best football game. Nonetheless, the servers, on top of the tacklebacks and some of the nonsense you can do over there, FC's back, let's call it, on the bench, right? Their reserve band, if you want to look at my concert analogy. If the opening band or even the main band, somebody starts getting messed up a bit, well, then that reserve band comes in. So we'll still keep our pulse on all football games. As always, that's what you can always expect. Any big news we will cover. But as far as main gameplay goes, UFL will be covered. It's just, don't expect a ton of gameplay for a game that just truly has a lot more work to do before it truly is a viable, good football simulator. With that being said, stay tuned. Once we get our hands on the actual update and put all of these notes to the test, just like we did last time, some of this stuff will ring true. Some of it will be better than how they described in here. Some of it will be worse, and it won't match up to what they described in these notes. So stay tuned for all that. Keep grinding. Keep having fun. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.